Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, as well as the vast majority of crypto and finance. And with that being said, I hope that you are all having a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are out there in the world. So the AMM did go live. Before I even get into this video, I just want to stress one more time the warning before you even utilize the AMM. We have here from Cryptonwriter, we have a word of caution for everyone as we approach the activation of the AMM on the XRP Ledger mainnet. Many people confuse liquidity provisioning for staking and believe that XRP would be locked up in a way that prevents XRP from being interacted with. That is wrong and will have serious effects on your bag if you start to engage in this way with any AMM pool. For an example, we have the Flare staking versus the XRP Ledger AMM. Using Flare as an example, you would typically want to wrap all or most of your coins to delegate wrapped Flare in the FTSO system and receive compounding wrapped Flare for being an active player in the ecosystem. The risk is low and most of the technical complexity has already been greatly abstracted thanks to many awesome web interfaces. There's also actual staking in the sense that it requires a minimum locked period for your stake to be delegated to any validator of your liking. Now with the AMM, there is no lockup period with the XRP Ledger AMM, and your deposited coins are provided to the AMM robot, which may then offer markets to any trader at any time for the current price determined by an algorithm. The entire idea of the AMM is to automatically make markets, which means that your deposited coins will be traded automatically depending on all transactions that take place. Summary, your deposits are not locked but provided to the AMM pool you pick. Traders and arbitrageurs will have access to such pools, and the software will provide liquidity, yours included, at a specified calculated price. Your XRPs are not wrapped before or after depositing into a pool. The source of the profit varies, inflation versus earned fees / token burn / market making. Depositing your whole bag of XRP in a single transaction, single-sided provisioning, would most certainly imbalance the asset pair ratio of the pool you join, resulting in high fees and a significant and permanent loss from the start. Before getting involved in the AMM craze, be cautious and careful, and as evil as it sounds, learn from the mistakes of others. And yes, this is 100% crucial, and just with that, let's actually learn from a mistake. We have warning, be very cautious with single-sided deposits into the AMM pools that don't have a lot of assets yet. This 2,000 XRP deposit caused the rate of the pool to get heavily skewed, allowing someone to arbitrage the pool by swapping $80 for 1,869 XRP. And here you have the transaction, $80.29, and they got 1,869 XRP for it. And this is what arbitrageurs will continue to do if you are making mistakes. Somebody lost over almost 2,000 XRP for $80. Make sure that you are doing as much research as possible before you even interact with the AMM. This is not passive income. This is not an opportunity to get rich by just providing your XRP. This is not staking. This is something that you must know now before you interact with the AMM. And I said it in yesterday's video before we even had this live. Now, talking about that, right? Yesterday, I did address the fact that the AMM is not a price driver. A lot of you got heated in the comments. Now today, the AMM went live, and guess what? XRP barely moved. In fact, it went down in price. Now, like I said in yesterday's video, and like I will say in this video, the AMM was never going to be an immediate price driver. Over time, I could see the entire XRP Ledger ecosystem becoming a lot more liquid through the AMM, which is very bullish. Considering most projects building on the ledger really haven't garnered enough support from the community and or even Ripple X, maybe the liquidity pools could benefit these projects greatly. I look forward to seeing what the AMM could do for the ecosystem. And talking about that, right? If we go over to the AMM right now, we can actually see the liquidity pools that are on the AMM initially, and this goes back to just 4:27 p.m., right? At the time that I'm recording this, it is about roughly 11:20 p.m. there was 9 pools that had XRP on one side. If we go over here to the AMM pools, we could see that this has drastically increased, and we could start to see where most of these pools are really kind of located in terms of what's on the other side. So for example, ecosystem players, you have Equilibrium here, you have ELS, you have Zerpy, you have Zahao Network. There's a lot of great ecosystem players within the XRP ledger that are actually creating liquidity pools, which is very, very exciting. You see Flare, Songbird on here. There's a lot of great liquidity pools. And right now, so far, let me actually show all. We could see that there is over 108 liquidity pools. And I do think that this is only going to continue to grow and grow and grow. And it's very exciting to see this live in action. Now, like I said, this is not going to be a price driver initially. It's going to take some time, but I'm still very excited about this. Now, RippleX did put out a post regarding this, and they actually linked it to David Schwartz's recent Medium post, and this is XLS30 live on mainnet. AMM integration on XRP Ledger is here, and this is actually from dev.to, sorry, not Medium, but regardless, we have XLS30 is an evolution of XRP Ledger's native DEX, introducing a first-of-its-kind approach to on-chain market making and liquidity. XRP Ledger has the world's first DEX since 2012, with fully on-chain order books that operate 24/7. Transactions settle atomically in 3 to 5 seconds and cost fractions of a cent in network fees. We also have XLS30 adds automated market making functionality and interconnects order books and liquidity pools to facilitate the best price execution accessible to all. Developers, market makers, and more can harness the power of a unified DEX to enable a superior product experience for all market participants. The novel continuous auction mechanism ensures continuous price discovery and reduces the impact of impermanent loss by partially burning auction slot proceeds. Liquidity pool voting mechanism allows liquidity providers to participate in decisions related to liquidity pools, enhancing decentralization and also XRP Ledger community involvement in the XLS30 ecosystem. Single-side liquidity pools functionality enables users to provide liquidity with only one asset, but again, the risk there is great. Simplifying participation in the AMM for a broad range of users, the protocol swaps on a liquidity pool's behalf to maintain a 1-to-1 ratio, thus decreasing the number of steps to improve UX. Now, initially, providing just one asset in terms of that single-sided liquidity pool, that's not going to be very beneficial initially. Wait patiently until things are actually fully evolved. But here we have the single-sided liquidity provision, again, how it would work. But then down here we have liquidity is aggregated at the protocol layer rather than fragmented across numerous applications and duplicated liquidity pools. Again, liquidity is aggregated at the protocol layer. You can see how this would work. And then also on day 1 of the AMM on the XRP Ledger, how are you planning to use it as it grows? Now, for me personally, I haven't interacted with the AMM just yet because, again, I don't care to, toss my XRP into the AMM. Like I said, what I'm more interested in around the AMM is what it's going to do for the ecosystem as a whole, but also what opportunities it opens up in terms of stablecoin initiatives and things like that, because I do think that this is a crucial piece of the puzzle. Now, David Schwartz did say after 2 years or so, the day has finally arrived. And like I said, we have been waiting for a while on this because it is a big difference for the entire ecosystem, but also it's a major move forward for the entire XRP Ledger. The AMM is live on the XRP Ledger mainnet, thus begins a longer road from today's initial rollout to future growth milestones for users, traders, devs, market makers, and many more. Looking forward to the journey alongside all of you in the XRP Ledger community. Now, also over here, I'm going to share with you guys a 5-minute or so long video of what David Schwartz is looking at in terms of the AMM and the opportunity here around the AMM as well, and then I will wrap up the video.
Subject, which is the AMM. I am unreasonably excited about this for largely personal reasons. I've spent a lot of time studying things like trading strategies and Forex markets, and this is near and dear to my heart. I also learned something that I didn't know, which is as I watched automated market makers develop on other chains, I sort of thought that automated market makers were better than order books. That we implemented order books on the XRP Ledger because it's sort of like the obvious thing. And then there's this really cool thing called an automated market maker that most other DeFi platforms are using, most other DEXs are using. And I learned as I looked into it that they're very complementary. They are not one or the other. One is not better than the other. They each have their own advantages and disadvantages, and the two of them together is way better than anything that you could get from having either one independently. And XLS30 is not just another AMM implementation. This was not the XRP ledger playing catch up. We were caught up with an order book. This is a true innovation. The XRP ledger is a trusted and leading enabler of DeFi because the underlying architecture of the ledger, combined with the protocol native design of the decentralized exchange and soon the AMM, will address most of the pain points faced in the decentralized liquidity landscape today. The XRPL's DEX was launched in 2012, the first DEX in the world, tokenization of any asset, the ability to trade and move these tokens anywhere in the world in just seconds, and open, globally competitive liquidity. Now, adding AMM to that, AMM, first and foremost, as I think about it, most people think of an AMM first and foremost as providing liquidity. I think of it first and foremost as a trading engine. RippleX is focused on differentiating the world's first DEX through automated market making. The AMM specification is now on DevNet for testing, and it'll be available to vote on mainnet, I think just in a couple of days. But ultimately, I see the AMM as a trading engine. It executes a trading strategy on behalf of those people who sort of provide the liquidity. So as most of you probably know, an AMM has a pile of two assets, and it makes markets between those two assets. But it's also implementing a yield. So if you were an Apple buyer and seller and the prices of apples were different around the world, you could go around the world buying and selling apples and make a profit. And what you would have is you'd have a pile of apples and a pile of currency, whatever currency you like, euros or dollars. And you would buy apples and your pile of apples would go up and your pile of currency would go down. And you would do that when the price was low. And then you would sell apples, right, when the price of apples was comparatively higher. And if you do that, eventually your pile of money will get bigger. And that is essentially what the AMM tries to do. It implements a trading strategy to harvest volatility on behalf of the liquidity providers who loan it assets. I'm much more personally excited about that than I am about the fact that it provides liquidity, but it does also provide liquidity. It does also make markets. Yeah, exactly. But we normally think of arbitrage as arbitrage over space, right? Like you go to this market and you buy, and you go to that market and you sell, and you go to this market and you buy. This is arbitrage over time, but it turns out arbitrage works over time too. The only problem is you don't know the price ahead of time, right? You can't predict, but it turns out you don't need to. So an exciting development also is Orchestra Finance, independent of Ripple, which is going to be the first interface layer for the AMM. So it provides benefits for all of the different stakeholders, the liquidity providers, the people who sort of take their assets and give them to the DEX, arbitrageurs, traders, and developers. Developers, of course, benefit from the liquidity that the automated market makers provide. Their tokens are more liquid, and so users can benefit from access to that liquidity. Liquidity providers want to maximize the returns that they get from the various different things that the automated market maker does to make a profit. XLS30 enables them to vote for trading fees. And probably the biggest single innovation is the continuous auction mechanism that reduces impermanent loss, and it also increases the efficiency of the volatility harvesting. What this does is this takes some of the profit that would normally be made by the arbitrageurs and gives it to the liquidity providers. The arbitrageurs are trying to make profit from sort of asymmetric information. They have access to the prices off the ledger, and the AMM does not. The auction mechanism increases the probability of success to capture mispricing profits, and it enables the automated market maker's trading strategy to capture very small changes in price. If you think about it, big movements in price have a larger opportunity for profit simply because the price change is bigger. Like if you're buying and selling a stock and it moves a lot, you can make more money. But it doesn't do that very often. Small movements occur much more often. And in aggregate, if you sum them all up, it's a greater opportunity than the large movements. But in order to catch the small movements, the system has to be very efficient. If there's a high fee, a small change in price won't be captured because people wait until the price difference exceeds the fee. If the transactions are slow and there's a small movement, you don't try to capitalize on that because the price might move against you before your trade can execute. The XRP ledger's features make it easy to capture those smaller price movements. And of course, integration. The AMM is going to be integrated in the DEX.
So there you guys have it. And again, as we really look at what's going on around the XRP ledger with all these major announcements and major changes, it really goes back to my initial statements that I was making leading up to the AMM rollout, which is the fact that the ecosystem and the ledger itself is expanding rapidly. I look forward to what Ripple X Dev is going to be doing with a lot of their initiatives around institutional DeFi, because I do think that the AMM, like I said, is a big step forward for realizing in institutional DeFi opportunities, as well as, DID, the clawback amendment, all of that stuff is to benefit institutional opportunities on the XRP ledger and solutions to be built out. There's also a great way to actually look at the dApp ecosystem. This was posted by Peersist, and this is actually some of the dApps already on the XRP ledger. Now, there is apparently over 1,500 applications, but I haven't really noticed 1,500. I think that some of the most notable ones are like, Solo, Corium, things like that. And, we really didn't get a lot of support for a lot of these projects just yet. Some of the most recent ones that I've been really focused on is like Anato Swap, which is Anato's finance. That's a big one, especially with, like I said, the AMM. This is a big one. And then also MoFinance. MoFinance is a great one. That's a recent project that has just recently come out, but there's some great projects already building out. But I'm more so looking into what RippleX is doing with institutional DeFi initiatives, because I know that they are hiring on the Ripple website around RippleX to focus on institutional DeFi. And then also, if you go back to the Axel Foundation Axelar, Foundation with the Axelar network, this one is also focused on building out the ecosystem, providing more capabilities and things like that, which again, this is an institutional player. If you go and look at the Axelar network, this is fully focused on institutions. So I'm excited. I think that a lot of these amendments, if we even go back to the amendments tab, a lot of these are to bring in more institutions. The clawback one, I mentioned it even with XLM, with Stellar. Franklin Templeton, the CEO, even said, listen, we needed the clawback amendment or we needed the clawback feature on Stellar in order to actually adopt it, because regulations and compliance is mandated to have that clawback amendment or clawback feature in place. So this amendment is a big deal, just like almost all of these amendments are a big deal in order to streamline capabilities and efficiencies on the actual XRP ledger and bring them in. And I'm very excited about that, right? So as we look at the AMM, was this a big failure? No. I've been seeing a lot of people saying like, oh, well, the AMM was a big nothing event because the price didn't go up, but this was never going to be a price driver. This is more so about benefiting the ecosystem, expanding the ecosystem, and also opening doors of opportunity to realize in more projects and also use cases around institutions, payments, things like that. So with that being said, let me know what you guys think about the AMM down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you guys did enjoy the video, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. Guys, more than follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.